Greetings from Seven Hills Knowledge Center. Today we'll be doing part 3 of chemical reactions and equations. But as usual, before we move ahead, we'll revise what we did in the last unit. What did we do? We learned different types of chemical reactions, which are decomposition reaction, combination reaction, exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. Today we'll learn some more types of chemical reactions. The types of chemical reactions that we'll be learning today are displacement reaction, double displacement reaction and precipitation reaction. Displacement reaction. Displacement reaction is a reaction in which a more reactive element or metal displaces the less reactive element or metal. We have reactivity series. In the reactivity series, we know how the elements react or what is the strength of those elements. Displacement reaction deals with the reaction of or reactivity series of the elements. Here, as I said, a more reactive element or metal displaces the less reactive element or metal. For example, Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. Here we can see that Fe has become FeSO4. Iron has become ferrous sulfate and copper sulfate has become just copper. Here iron is more reactive than copper. That is the reason it has displaced copper from copper sulfate solution and it has given only copper metal outside. In simple terms, AB plus CD gives AD plus BC. See, AD it is combining together, BC is combining together. This is the meaning of displacement reaction. Please do not write this example in your exams of AB plus CD gives AD plus BC. That is only for your understanding. Displacement reaction is a reaction in which a more reactive element will displace the less reactive element. Example, Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. In the above reaction, what is happening? I told, right? Iron has displaced or removed another element, copper, from copper sulfate solution. CuSO4 is becoming Cu on the product side, right? It has been displaced, it has been removed from its original position. Let us understand this with an activity. First, we have to take 3 nails and we have to clean them by rubbing sandpaper. 3 nails and sandpaper. Next, we have to take 2 test tubes and we have to mark them as A and B. In each test tube, we have to take about 10 ml of copper sulfate solution. Tie 2 iron nails with a thread and immerse them carefully in copper sulfate solution in test tube B for about 20 minutes. We have to dip it for about 20 minutes. Keep 1 nail aside for comparison. We took 3 nails. 2 we are dipping, 1 we have to keep it aside. After 20 minutes, take out the iron nails from the copper sulfate solution. We tied a thread, right? So we have to pull the thread and see what is the color of it. Compare the intensity of the blue color of copper sulfate solutions in test tube A and B. This is before and this is after. See, you see the change of color, blue copper sulfate solution. This has become green iron sulfate solution. This was copper before and later it has become iron, right? Also compare the color of iron nails dipped in the copper sulfate solution with the one kept aside. We had 3, 1 we had kept aside. We have to take that nail and see the color of that nail. What is the color? The result of the activity is iron displaces copper from its salt solution, copper sulfate, because of the displacement reaction. Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. We will see some more examples of displacement reaction. That is, zinc plus copper sulfate. Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. Again in this example, zinc is more reactive than copper. That is the reason it has displaced copper from its copper sulfate solution. Because of displacement, zinc metal became zinc sulfate and CuSO4, that is copper sulfate, became only copper. Another example is Pb plus CuCl2 gives PbCl2 plus Cu. That is, lead plus copper chloride gives lead chloride and copper. Same thing is applicable for this also. Pb, that is lead, is more reactive than copper. That is the reason it has displaced copper. Next, we have double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction is a reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between reactants. These kinds of reactions wherein there is an exchange of ions between the reactants are called double displacement reaction. The example is AgNO3 plus NaCl gives AgCl plus NaNO3. Here AgNO3 is becoming NaNO3 and NaCl is becoming AgCl. Do you see the exchange of ions that is taking place? Here these arrows will show you the reaction or the exchange of ions that we can see. Another reaction is Na2SO4, that is sodium sulfate, plus BaCl2, barium chloride, gives BaSO4, that is barium sulfate, plus 2NaCl, that is sodium chloride. The example that I gave you is an example for precipitation reaction. Precipitation reaction means any reaction that produces precipitate can be called as precipitation reaction. Here BaCl2 plus Na2SO4 gives BaSO4 plus 2NaCl. This is an example of double displacement reaction under the reaction is precipitation reaction. We'll understand this with an activity. Here test tube containing solution of sodium sulfate. This is a test tube containing barium chloride. When we add sodium sulfate to barium chloride, what is happening? A white substance which is insoluble in water is formed. This insoluble substance formed is known as a precipitate. Precipitate in simple language is a residue. What is left after the reaction is called precipitate or residue. What is the result of this activity? The reaction of Na2SO4 plus BaCl2 produces an insoluble white precipitate of BaSO4. This indicates that it is a double displacement reaction. Since the products formed are different from the reactants in chemical properties and composition, thus it is a chemical change. Next, we have some properties of precipitates and the reaction. What are the properties? The precipitation reaction undergoes in aqueous solutions or medium in an ionic state. The reaction takes place between ions present in the aqueous solutions forming the product. The products formed at the end of the precipitation reaction are the precipitates which are insoluble in aqueous solution. Precipitation reactions are known as ionic reactions since the ions actively take part in the reaction and form the product. Next, these reactions depend on the temperature, concentration of the solution, buffer solution, etc. In this session, we learnt displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, precipitation reaction. Next comes our usual part, that is multiple choice questions. The first question is, which among the following is or are double displacement reactions? The options are Pb plus CuCl2 gives PbCl2 plus Cu. Na2SO4 plus BaCl2 gives BaSO4 plus 2NaCl. C plus O2 gives CO2. CH4 plus 2O2 gives CO2 plus 2H2O. The choices are A 1 and 4, B only 2, C 1 and 2, D 3 and 4. Link is available in the description section. Please submit your answers there. The next question is barium chloride on reacting with ammonium sulfate forms barium sulfate and ammonium chloride. Which of the following correctly represents the type of reaction involved? The choices are displacement reaction, precipitation reaction, combination reaction, double displacement reaction. Link is available in the description section. Please do submit your answers there without fail. Next, what happens when iron nails are dipped in copper sulfate solution? Copper is displaced by iron. Color of the nails change. Iron is displaced by copper. None of the above. Link is available in the description section. Please submit your answers there. Before I end, These brain books have been helpful to many people. For further information, please contact the numbers given in the slide. I hope you have understood what I did in today's session. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.